Let's talk horse racing. No Chad again this week. He'll be back next week. He's doing that sale thing. It's only one of the most important weeks of the year. You got to move your camera. Yep.
Okay.
As so, I'm after all these years, I'm taking it that you've been to these sales before.
Yes.
How are they? What are they like?
It's crazy. It's like anywhere else that you go to an auction. Hold on one second. I just got to close the door. Sorry. They spend a few days looking at all the horses. All the horses are brought to the sale like a week before the sale comes. And before the sales start, everyone has has access to check out the horses. They can go get them vetted. They could look at them. They walk them out of the stall, and Chad has a very good eye at it. And my son, Chad's taught my son, and my son picked out Cyberknife, and,
That's how you do it. Okay.
it's a business like anything else.
And that goes on for what, 10 days?
This one I think was 8 or 10 days. At Saratoga, they had a New York bred sale, which was 3 days. Then they had their big sale, which was a week. Yeah, so like every one of these fancy meets, they usually have a sale at. They're different times of the year.
And your horse, how did that come about?
Champagne Poetry was also purchased at a sale.
And were you there?
No.
Son?
Joe picked them out, and she had a lot of problems. They wanted to sell her, and I said, I'll just buy her because I liked her, so I took them off their hands.
What's going on with the horse right now?
She's on her way back. She's back in training. She'll be ready to run at the end of October.
Where do you think?
I think she's fine. She did us no wrong, so we gave her the time off. She's tries all the time. What does she have? 5 lifetime starts? You throw out the last 2 because one was on Turfway and the other one was on turf. And that's because of the way things are at Nairi. They wouldn't ride any 3-year-old races. You had a choice. You could either run in a stake race or a claiming race. Nothing in between.
Yeah.
So that's crazy.
Now, speaking of crazy, what is this Belmont at the Big A about?
Okay, so every year when they're done with Saratoga, they go to Belmont Park for usually about a 28-day meet. Okay, and then after that meet at Belmont, they will then ship across town to Aqueduct and race at Aqueduct for the entire winter and basically till next spring.
Okay.
They come back they go to Belmont a few weeks before the Belmont Stakes. This year, they built a hockey arena on the grounds at Belmont Park. Their property is so big.
Okay.
And they obviously don't have the same attendance that they used to have when they'd have 50,000 people coming there on weekends. So what happened? They turned part of the parking lot into the hockey arena for the Islanders.
Okay.
So along with that came construction that they had to do. So if they were doing the construction, it wouldn't be done in time for this meet. So what they did was they moved the meet to Aqueduct. It's being run at Aqueduct. It's being called the Belmont Meet at the Big A. Dumbest thing in the world. Just say it's at Aqueduct.
Yeah, and what's this? So, because that's what they're doing here. It's like they're
showing you symbols like the horse has 33 lifetime starts at Aqueduct, but no starts at BAQ. That's the dumbest crap in the world.
How can you confuse people like that? It is so...
It's dumb. It's just stupid. It's part of racing. The stupid parts of racing.
And they probably think they were cute in doing it.
They think they're cute. Belmont at the Big A. They think it has a ring to it. People don't give a crap.
Well, anybody listening and watching this show, we certainly hope you are giving a crap. Obviously, I think that would be the case if you're tuning in. And we have 3 races for you today, as usual. We're going to have 1 Belmont at the Big A. That's coming up with our first. That's our first race, and that's going to be available to everybody. That's our free race. And then after that, we've got 2 races at Churchill Downs. That's only available to our viewers and our clients and customers and patrons and so forth at patreon.com/PrimeSN. You can check out the link in the description area of this page on this channel and check it out. $5 a month. You can't beat it. And we hope you join us. Join a bunch of our other patrons who have been slowly growing a nice little presence over there. We appreciate them. Now, the big race of this weekend, we're not going to do, I guess, because it's not really a big race. There are, there are about 7 or 8 graded stakes races. The biggest races are at Woodbine, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, those are the Breeders' Cup Challenge races.
But they have the problem with doing Woodbine is it's a tapetum surface.
Synthetic, right?
You know how I feel about that.
That's fine with me. And yeah, so those are the big races. That's why we're avoiding those. And the other graded stakes races are at Churchill and Belmont. I guess what would the Jockey Derby, whatever it's called, would that be the biggest race?
One of them's $1 million. The other one is 500,000 or something.
So there you go. So it's the jockey race.
Yeah, but the problem again, they have the same problem that they have every other week. There are 5 and 6 horses in that race. But guess what? This time I'm going to blame Naira for it, because they just ran the last week at Kentucky Downs, where they had nothing but those $500,000, $1 million races, where all these horses that ran there would have been eligible for these races if they would have waited and ran the race in a month from now. What was the point to run it a week after the biggest meet at Kentucky Downs? They only have one meet there. It's 7 days. Why run these 2 races right after it, knowing that horses would be running there instead of running here? Makes no sense. Not only that, it's coming off the Saratoga meet, which was also a big meet. What was their rush to put these 2 races together this weekend?
And they had big cards too at Kentucky Downs.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. That's the Jockey Club Derby Stakes. So that would be like considered the biggest race with 6 horses in the field, and Classic Causeway is like that's the name horse.
No, he's not. What about Nation's Pride, the other horse? Isn't there a
Nation's Pride? No, I said named horse because I don't have Nation's Pride.
That's a Charles Appleby horse that ran in all those big. Isn't he in that race?
Well, yeah, he ran in the Belmont Derby.
Okay.
And the Saratoga something.
Yeah. So.
Classic Causeway, of course, ran in the Triple Crown, so that's what I was saying.
But he didn't get good till they put him on the grass. I mean, he was good before, obviously. He ran in the Derby, but his last 2 races, they switched him to the turf, if you remember, and he actually ran very well on both of them.
And those are the favorites, the even money shot and the 2-to-1 shot in a 6-horse field, so we'll be avoiding that race.
And they look a little better than the rest of the horses in the field, to be honest with you. So,
all right, so the first race, though, is at Belmont at the Big A. 6 furlongs. It's race 8. This will go off about 4:40 on Saturday. How's the weather going to be?
It's beautiful.
And this is outer turf. What's the difference between outer and inner?
Just like the Widener and the inner at Belmont, there's 2 turf courses, one inside the other. The one inside the outer is the inner. The one outside.
What's the difference in?
Nothing.
Okay.
Nothing. They just you don't want to beat up one turf course. Obviously, turf courses, the turns are a little sharper because it's inside the other one.
Makes sense. The purse is 105. 3-year-olds and up, which have never won an 18,000, which have never won 18 grand other than maiden claiming, etc. And you know what? We haven't had races like this in a while, so and it's good. As we said the other day, it's a lot harder to make money.
You have a full field, so that's what's good.
And that's good too.
Yeah, the favorites, in my opinion, in this race are not better than the other horses.
No, they're beatable.
I think this is a good betting race.
We'll start with the 1, King Angelo. This is one of those favorites at 3-1. Now, this is a respectable favorite because you see the sheet line. Did nothing but get better in all 6 races last year, from 18 all the way to 10. Then took about, 7 months off. Started with a 14 in June, came back with a 10 in July. We haven't seen it. So it's been a couple of months, though, since we've seen King Angelo at 3-1.
Yeah, this horse is fine. I mean, again, this is one of the favorites in the race that I think actually has a shot. And listen, he never really runs a bad race. The last race was 5.5 furlongs at Saratoga. So now he's being asked to go that extra half a furlong to 6 furlongs. However, that being said, 3 races back at Aqueduct, he ran a 10 at 6 furlongs, and that's the same situation he's going to run into on Saturday.
Yeah, but keep in mind, this is Belmont at the Big A.
but it's still Aqueduct. The
I
race
know.
is still at the same. Don't do that to me. I had to take a double take. Hello.
The 2 is a Ike guy is a 15-1 shot, has 18, 18, 14, and Peter Miller has given the reins over to David Jacobson.
I would say Jacobson probably bought this horse privately, and he has little or no chance, in my opinion.
Outlaw Kid, the 3 is a 6-1 shot. Castellano on board. Only 2 races, but first race was a 20. That was a dud. Came back strong with a 10 last time out, but this is what the B word is all about, isn't it?
Not necessarily. He's lightly raced. And what made him run the 10 last time off the layoff was the fact that he was gelded prior to that 10. So they gelded him, and a lot of times that makes a difference. When a horse is gelded, they come back as different horses.
Okay.
This is actually going to be my top selection because he's lightly raced. The first race obviously means nothing, the 20 that he ran, because something went amiss there anyway, which resulted in a long layoff of about 7 or 8 months. Then he was gelded in the intern. So the fact that he's coming back close, he's 6-1. If he's really this price, this will probably be my top selection.
What number would you avoid this horse at?
What number?
4-1?
Yeah, 7-2, 4-1's as low as I would go.
Let's go to the 4, Phantom Smoke. You got Clement, you got Pratt. That's a good combo, but we don't see anything better than a 14, which has occurred over the last 2 races.
Listen, the horse is improving, but at
7-2, yeah.
I don't want any part of him at 7-2. He's yet to run a 10 that either the 1 or the 3 have. Why would I play him?
The 5 is Maritime Wings. The Maritime Wings has got a Pletcher Velasquez combo at 10-1, but the only 2 races here in the States, 16 and 18.
Not good. Not good. And he's going to be shorter than 10-1 because it is Velasquez and Pletcher, so they're going to take money.
All right, now comes the 6, Immortalization, a 6-1 shot. And we've got, was it Cassie is now training the horse.
Right.
And this was coming off at 11 last time out. Previous best was a 13 a couple of starts ago. So what about the 6?
Well, off the 13, he bounced to a 17. Off the 15, he bounced to a 17. Now he's off an 11.
Yep.
I mean, in my opinion, he's got to bounce.
Yeah, there's a few of those horses that we're going to be getting into in other races. I noticed that. Okay. By the way, this horse is 1-for-1 at BAQ. The 7 is Carpe's Dream. Now, this horse is a 12-1 shot. This is the horse I train. And
you train?
Yeah, you see? You see how I trained this horse?
Yeah, I see. Oh, okay. Very good.
It's my day off. So the good thing is the horse has improved pretty much every start from 21 to 15, but 15, that's a little far back, isn't it?
What is a 15 going to do for you here?
Yeah.
And the problem is the last race was technically a 15.25, so it was a backward move off the 15. So he's not improving with each start, but I hear what you're saying.
All right, and then next up, we have the 8, Gianni Lambo, a Pletcher Irad Ortiz combo. 1 start, a 16. That was last year, excuse me, last year. So look, the good thing is 16, that's respectable first start, got a win, but it's been a year, 8-1, Pletcher Ortiz, they're going to, interest will be there. So what do you do with horses like this? I know you usually pass on them.
No, well, this is a horse that ran well as a 2-year-old and his one and only start. He now returns as a 3-year-old and gets Lasix for the first time.
Okay.
This horse has every right to run a 12 or 13 off of this line. I'm using this horse. He also got bet first time out. He went off 6-5, I believe. So, I think this horse is going to be live in his return. I'm sure they were trying to get him to run at Saratoga because it's that kind of horse. Horse that ran well as a 2-year-old, and they point him for Saratoga, especially big barns like Chad Brown and Todd Pletcher. I don't know what happened. Either the horse obviously wasn't ready in time, but you see that he's been working at Saratoga steadily. So I would expect this horse to run, obviously, a new top, and I'm using him in my hookups.
And again, because the horse will be bet with the Pletcher Irad Ortiz combo, you don't want this horse to go under what?
He's not going to be less than. I don't want him to go under 5-1, but I
Okay.
don't think that he will be because listen, he won a maiden race and now he's stepping up to allowance. He could have found an easier spot, maybe. He could have run in non-winners of one other then, and there are horses in this race with multiple races, so he's like jumping up to run in this spot as far as class-wise is concerned. But that doesn't bother
Sure.
me.
Yeah. And yeah, like you said, so it could be for a reason. And the 9 is Click-a-Tat. So this horse is 5-1. When you compare the rest of the horses, you like the fact that this horse has got 2 9s. Now you've got the 11, 10, 10, 9, bounce to 12, but back to a 9. So, which was just what was it, 4 months ago, 5 months ago?
Yeah, but here's my question: where's this horse been?
Yeah,
This horse been?
and
However,
5-1.
that being said, he's generally a fast horse. He never really runs a bad race, except for the exception of the 2 races at the end of last year. Everything else is a 9 or 10.
Nobody else has a 9 in this race.
Right. Well, that's why I'm using this horse. The thing that I it's just my own personal feeling. I think that she's probably giving him a race sprinting, setting him up to go long next time out. Off of the layoff, you need to get a race into him to stretch him. You don't want to run a horse off a layoff going long. It's a hard thing to do. So what they usually do is they'll give him a race sprinting, and then they'll send him long. He'll come back and run long after having this race under his belt. So for conditioning wise, physical conditioning wise, it's like being asked to run a marathon. You're going to run a sprint race
Sure.
before you go to the marathon. You're just going to build up stamina or whatever. Other than that, there's nothing wrong with this horse. Listen, he's got 4 wins more than anyone else in this field. No one else has 4 wins, and he's a fast horse. He was claimed out of his last start by Linda Rice, and off the layoff, they could have dropped him and run him back for a tag, but they didn't. They ran him back protected in an allowance race. So that's also a positive sign.
Okay.
I like the 3 the best, only because I think he'll be a lot longer than the 9. I like 3 over 1, 8, 9. And if there's room, you can reverse 3 with 1, 8, and 9.
3 over 1, 8, and 9. And was there another one in there? Yeah, the only other horse I guess I would consider is that 6 horse.
Well, that horse looks like he's bouncing to me. He's bounced every time he's ever put in a big race.
That's the major thing.
Big
Yeah.
race, so.
But there's a couple of these horses. The odds are going to go the other way, so it'll be interesting to see if
You gotta hope they really bet horses like the 4 Phantom Smoke. It's Clement, it's Flavian Pratt, so they should certainly go after them. And you have to hope he takes money, and that's the horse you want to try to beat.
All right, so that is race 8, and that'll go off about 4:40 on Saturday, and again, that is at Aqueduct. So we're going to say goodbye now to our free viewers. And again, if you would like to watch every minute of every show, the ones that we air later in the week when we handicap all the races, you can check us out over at patreon.com/PrimeSN.